Good morning and welcome to TLC Engineering Solutions. I'm Brian Lomel, a principal at TLC, and I'm here to speak to you today about what building owners can do with their properties to provide a more healthy environment, including a focus on COVID-19 risk reduction strategies. So grab a cup of coffee and join me. The virus is transferred by touch, which is mitigated with hand washing, through droplets in the air created by coughing and sneezing and talking, which is mitigated by social distancing and PPE. The heavier droplets tend to fall to the ground within the 6-foot radius. The third method of transfer is aspiration, when an infected person just breathes out. Those are really small droplets that hang in the air. A well-designed HVAC system can reduce the risk of exposure to aerosolized virus particles. We advise building owners to use the recommendations of professional societies like ASHRAE with respect to HVAC and medical experts like CDC and WHO with respect to the virus. A first step building owners can take is to recommission their HVAC systems. Don't make modifications to a system that isn't even running like it was designed. It was designed to at least meet code, so get it back to that as a minimum. A second strategy would be to control the humidity. Controlling the space between 40 and 60% RH minimizes the risk of the virus persisting in the space. You may have to add a humidistat and some control programming to your equipment. A third strategy is improved filtration. The ASHRAE chart shown indicates some effectiveness with MERV 13 filtration and much more effectiveness with MERV 16 filtration. Beware of unintended consequences. One of these could be that the fan motor cannot handle the additional friction, resulting in slower airflow, which could lead to icing of the coil, damaging the fan motor, or a breakdown of the refrigeration cycle, causing damage to the unit. A fourth strategy is to max ventilate, temporarily running the HVAC system at the design ventilation rate and not reducing airflow rates for ventilation when the occupancy is low. There is a max ventilation airflow rate at which the coil can provide effective dehumidification. Exceeding that could result in moisture carryover and potentially a mold problem. A fifth strategy is to overventilate. This strategy is to run the unit for more time than it may have been scheduled to run. Running the ventilation more often is a temporary strategy to dilute any contaminants in the space. A sixth strategy is to control the relative pressures between spaces. Pay attention to where the air is supplied and returned. Many commercial real estate assets have had HVAC modifications associated with tenant fit-outs over the years that have resulted in air from one tenant space being returned through another tenant space. You may not receive complaints about the temperature because that may not be affected by this, but you do not want to have a virus in one space pushed into an adjoining room before it is either exhausted or filtered back at the air handling unit. A seventh strategy is the use of UV light. UVC light in the 254 nanometer wavelength is the only light shown to be effective at disrupting the virus. This is great in theory, but difficult to implement effectively on airborne particles. Exposure to UV light is dangerous. Caution should be taken in the placement and the installation of UV lights so that the maintenance staff and the general public are protected. My coffee is empty and I need a refill. I hope this chat has helped you understand the role your building HVAC system can have in combating the spread of COVID-19.